Oh, Lee.
Football.
Can't escape this bullshit.
ESPN, the global leader in sports.
Welcome to the Pop Fantasy Football Week 1 recap, brought to you by the Panels on Pages podcast. I'm Jason Knize, representing the dead last 2019 Kerouac champions. Ask me about my butt. Joining me this week are Pop Fantasy Football Commissioner, representing the Brooklyn Dark Knights, Tito Cruz.
Thank you for whoever shitted on OBJ's chest before today's game.
Pop Fantasy Football Kerouac Commissioner, representing Tell 'em Kelly Eats Band-Aids, Dan Mahoney.
Take away that OBJ touchdown, give that to Landry.
And finally, representing Selecciones Arriesgadas, the 2017 Asterisk champion and 2019 Pop Fantasy Football champion, Jose Guzman.
The holder of the Tito. R.I.P. Tito. Get this fucking court out of here.
Whole thing's fine.
The
whole thing's
road
fucked.
to the repeat begins last week.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
I
maybe
sure
next
hope
week.
not. So, when we did the draft special last week, it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing, and then I was like, fuck it, let's try and keep this thing going. There's enough interest out there. I know we'll at least have 12 listeners.
Yeah, there were people who don't even like football that were like, what day are you going to record on? I was like, all right.
Yeah, I just hope...
Not only are you not interested in football, you don't play fantasy football, but you can't wait to listen to the show. So let's do it.
I just hope we don't lose the people that enjoy the Pop Fantasy Football updates just because it annoys Lee.
That's fine.
The show dipped in
We've got
numbers.
plenty of plans to annoy Lee.
That's true.
You know who our number one fan is? It is Lee for not doing it on the show.
Yeah. Lee is at home, definitely not listening right now.
Definitely
Yeah,
not.
sure. He's listening.
Or he is.
All right, well,
He's got it on.
we're going to try and keep things short and sweet, so I'm going to throw it to Kerouac Commissioner Mahoney, and we're going to go over the Week 1 scoreboard.
All right, let's do it. All right, week 1 was a little wild. So, obviously, it's got to be a winner and loser for every team. But like we saw a few seasons ago, there were like monster teams and then teams that could barely crack 100. And hopefully we don't have ourselves another one of those seasons. There was only one close matchup the whole week. Everything else was a blowout. And some of them were just absolute domination. So week 1... my team, Tell 'em Kelly Eats Band-Aids, was up against Tito's Brooklyn Dark Knights. Tito destroyed us, 116 to 93.5. So that's no good for me.
Jesus.
Yeah, ridiculous. Mel, with his Jackie Taytona human barbecue? I should put this in a view where I can see the full name.
Human bartender.
Human bartender. He barely eked out a win over Matt Shelbyville Sharks at 100.5 to 97.5.
And that was...
That's it. That's the only close game, and that came down to Monday night, I believe.
Yeah, Mel had kind of resigned himself to losing Week 1.
Yep. Yeah, and look what happens. Sometimes, Sunday you're like, oh well, gave it my best, and then all of a sudden on Monday you're the winner.
Monday magic.
Go figure. We got Kelly and his Los Ingobernables, who crushed Mary's Batu Bright Sons, 124.5 to 100.
I said to Kelly at one point, I said, "What are you doing to my wife, Kelly?" And he says, "Making an example out of her."
Oh my God. You know what's ridiculous about Kelly? I love Kelly. Kelly, if you listen to the draft special, half of Kelly's team is people who had interesting hair and funny names.
Yep.
And he puts up 124 points, which I do believe, let me confirm here, yes, good for the second highest score in the entire league. Dominates Mary, who was what, like 12-2 last year? Like barely lost?
Higher the hair, closer to God.
Yeah.
And he had 4 players that went single digits, but then 2 that scored 28. Matt Ryan at quarterback and Adam Thielen at wide receiver.
And Dalvin Cook with 21.5.
Yeah, he's no
He
slouch
was
either.
feeling Thielen.
He loves Adam Thielen.
He was
He went for
definitely-
him real quick.
The Minnesota did his team well.
Yeah.
Yeah, one COVID outbreak and Kelly doesn't have a team.
I mean, they didn't translate to a real win in real life for Minnesota, but did Kelly well.
That's okay. We don't need real wins in real life. Then we got Jose over here with his Selecciones Arigatas getting stomped on by Juan's Velvet Jones's How to Be a
It
Hoe.
wasn't
I don't know about
on.
stomped.
Get the fuck out of here with stomped on. Your
Stomped on.
exaggeration of scores
Pushed
needs
into a
to be
puddle.
Define stomped on. Your
Stomped
14
on-
points is
stomped
stomped
on.
on?
Stomped on is defined as 113 to 99.5.
That's not stomped on.
Oh,
That's
it's stomped on.
That's not even a 20-point loss.
All right.
I
You want to
would.
talk stomped
Okay,
on?
well, hold on. If that's stomped on, then what was 124 to 100?
Smushed.
No, that's got to be more than smush. I
Made an
that's a
example of.
volcano explosion.
The next game, that's stomped on.
Threat
right,
level
yeah.
midnight.
I do.
Can we
I,
all
I would like
agree-
to point out that Juan drafted Patrick Mahomes in the first round and only got him 26 fantasy points, which I believe is the 5th highest of all the quarterbacks in the Pop Fantasy Football for Week 1. So, still beat out Tom Brady by 3 points, but Tom Brady threw 2 fucking interceptions. So
The problem with Juan getting Mahomes in the first round is it should have put Juan at a disadvantage for his running backs, but it did not. Juan still managed to
that's
get
a safety
Mahomes, Carson, and Johnson, and, he got 26 points out of Mahomes, 21 points out of Carson, 17.5 out of Johnson. Like, he didn't suffer any for taking his quarterback so early, so...
I wouldn't call it a stomping.
All right, that's fine. Can we agree? Can we agree that this next match was a stomping? When Tad's QAnon's Guide to Idiocy stomped all over Goat's Turd Ferguson's
You lost worse than I did.
158 to 85.5.
like a lit bag of dog shit on somebody's front porch, just
Holy
stomped
shit.
him out.
Stomped on.
That is a stomping.
And
right
that
there.
was like Tad jumped out to a huge lead in game 1, like early.
Oh yeah, I'm
Never
sure
looked
Goat
back.
stopped watching Sunday at
Yeah.
2. I was like, never mind. I don't need to follow this.
He could have Tad could have beat him with his quarterback and his 2 wide receivers.
Yeah. Yeah. Awful.
Good job, Lee. What
Awful.
are you doing?
Yeah, we should mention, if you don't know, Goat runs the Turd Ferguson's, but that really is Lee. Popcast host Lee Rodriguez's fantasy team.
Hmm.
Yeah. Go push the buttons, but Lee made the calls.
That's right. And those calls need some revisiting, because that 85.5, that's the lowest score of the week.
What are you thinking, Lee?
No idea. Absolutely terrible. And rounding it out, we got Vetter with his COVID quarantine, putting the beat down on Knize's Ask Me About My Butt.
Yeah.
118.5 to 89.5.
Yeah, Tom Brady wasn't a huge point scorer for me, but neither was the rest of my team except for Christian McCaffrey. Everyone but my quarterback, my running back, my wide receiver, and my kicker scored single digits.
Oof.
And then I've got Robbie Anderson with 22 points on my bench and Sammy Watkins with 17.5 points on my bench. But I don't know if that would have even mattered.
Man, there's nothing worse than points on your
Yeah.
bench.
And, I should have taken a screenshot of the projected scores for week 1 because I swear to God, I was supposed to get like 115 and Vetter was supposed to get 103. So this is going to be a fun experiment that I do for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely keep track of that because those predictions are completely useless.
Yeah.
They wild.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a
They
it's a
never
coin
tell
flip
you
every
anything.
week.
It's an absolute outrage. So, Knize, you had the #1 overall pick coming in last season. Gave you the #1 overall pick. You got McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He performed for you.
That guy's a beast, man.
And Vetter's team is stacked. Vetter got some good breaks,
Yeah.
made some great draft choices. Like, he is a team to be concerned about.
Well, speaking of, we're going to try doing this segment every week on the show. We're going to talk about our Week 1 Pop Fantasy Football Team of the Week. So, let's start it out. Tito, Commish, who would you say is the Pop Fantasy Football Team of the Week for Week 1?
I'm going to go with Tad's QAnon's Guide to Idiocy.
Yeah.
His first overall pick, Barkley, only scored him 9 points, and he still scored an overall 158 to lead the week. So when your top pick comes in that low and you still can produce that higher score, that you get my team of the week.
Yeah, I think I'm going to echo Tito's pick. I don't know if you guys have any other answers for that one.
I mean, I will definitely give it to Tad. The points, putting up 158 points, you are obviously the team of the week. You destroyed everybody. Nobody would have even been in the vicinity of Tad. Even if Tad played Kelly with the second highest amount of points in the league, he would have beat him by 24 something points. Like, it's nonsense. But Vetter, like, when I look at Tad's team, I don't really like that Green Bay Minnesota game was wonky. Like, that was unexpected. Adams for Tad got him 34 points. Like, I don't really expect that to continue. I do expect Vetter's success to continue, and so I think Vetter really has a team to watch.
What about you, Jose? Who you got?
I'm gonna go Kelly.
Oh,
that's not a bad choice.
A team based on hair putting up the second most points in the league, and like the thought of drafting your team based on hair and cool names is ridiculous. But when you look at his roster, that's not a ridiculous roster. Like, that's a legit roster. Matt Ryan, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Adam Thielen, Tyler Lockett, Rob Gronkowski, Ty Hilton. He's got like #1 options. And honestly, I see the Falcons being behind a lot, and that motherfucker is going to be throwing the ball a lot this year. The Atlanta might suck and lose, but that motherfucker is going to be slinging it.
I feel like picking your team based on hairstyles and cool names is as scientific as whatever the fuckers at ESPN do.
But what's also crazy, like, so Alvin Kamara is on the table if you're drafting with that mindset. Like, there's a lot of motherfuckers he could have ended up with just that logic alone.
Well, Alvin Kamara, is it because of a cool name or is it because of cool hair?
Exactly.
You can draft him for either one.
Yeah.
Now, did he get DJ Chark? I'm forgetting.
No, somebody took Chark.
Yeah, he didn't get Chark.
Yeah.
I think it was like Shark or Vetter or something like that.
I think Kelly probably needs to try and trade for Alvin Kamara. I think Vetter has him, right? Because
yeah, but the problem is he would have to give up hair for hair. So now is it worth it?
Well, I think it's more valuable to Kelly because of Kelly's conspiracy theory about Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks being a human.
You're just trying to align the well, hopefully when these conspiracies align, my team plays better.
He's trying to align all the points of the triangle together. So.
There you go.
I don't have that sounder queued up, but I guess I should probably load it.
I'm gonna ride this Kelly wave. I'm gonna see where I think I blessed him earlier.
Oh man,
and I want to see him take the title. So I want to see the only champ who doesn't have a legit name claim to a title. Let's see that guy win one.
Yeah.
All
well,
right.
Kelly
Maybe next year.
Kelly is the uncrowned first champion of Pop Fantasy Football, isn't he? Or was that back on the WOM? I forget.
He's kind of like
it was a Pop Fantasy league where only 4 people were actually Pop members.
He's like Dr. J. He's playing in the league before it became
right. Yeah.
Or
Kelly's should be on our logo.
The AFL? The AFL that folded or became
ABA.
Kelly was in
ABA is basketball, but I'm saying I probably should have made it a football.
Kelly was in the Negro leagues of Pop Fantasy Football.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, that makes sense too, because I guarantee you do a draft of the ABA based on cool names and hair, you're going to come out with a pretty solid basketball team.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, we talked team of the week, so now we got to talk bad beat of the week.
Fuck you!
All right, Jose, since you finished off team of the week, why don't you lead off with bad beat of the week?
Jeez, I mean, I'm going to go fucking me. Because I fucking lost to Juan.
Yeah. I mean, were you projected to lose to Juan?
I think it was kind of tight, but the thing is my defense sucked. My kicker ate dick, and my tight end, I should have played the other guy. But even if I played the team that was the best team I could have played, so at least I didn't lose by that. But the team that I drafted is not the team that performed. Those weren't the numbers I was expecting. So I'm hoping these old bones have a late run in it.
All right, Mahoney, who you got?
Okay, so I made a big fuss. If you listen to the draft special, I made this big fuss about everybody taking their quarterbacks early, and I was like, you guys can find quarterback points anywhere in the draft. So you are all wasting your time picking up these quarterbacks. And so I found my quarterback points late in the draft with Daniel Jones. I got 21 points out of him, but I had placed him firmly on my bench because I put all of my hopes and dreams behind Tyrod Taylor, who got me...
I don't understand that one.
Who got me 8 stupid points, and just a terrible, terrible decision. And so my bad beat of the week is absolutely Tyrod Taylor and his 8 stupid points.
And I would say the easy one would be that ass whooping that Goats Turd Ferguson's took this week. But also, I would have to point out Sharks, Shelbyville Sharks. That's one of those type of neck and neck competitive games where if you go to sleep early, you might wake up thinking that you won, but you ended up losing.
Yeah, that's my bad beat of the week. I mean, if you look at his team and who he started, he left 25 points from Slayton on the bench, which, I mean, considering I wouldn't put him to start over his 2 wideouts. I might have put him in a flex spot, to be honest with you. But he left Hawkinson as his tight end on the bench, and I think he's a better tight end than the person he had in place there, which is Higbee. And that's 13.5 points, and that would have gotten him the win.
Yeah, he started Cam Akers in his flex, and that's a weird choice.
Doesn't he play lacrosse?
Well, everybody's trying to hype this rookie train.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drafted a rookie just because he looked nice in a suit.
There you go.
Well, we
Matt's
have learned
on the rookie train. Matt's got 3. How many? He's got 2 rookie quarterbacks on his bench. He's got 3 quarterbacks all in. 2 rookies sitting on his bench.
Mel has a high upside team. Mel's team is you should give Mel your team name, Jose, because there are some risky picks that Mel took there.
All right, well, let's keep things moving. Let's Tito, why don't you go over the week 1 rankings, where everybody stands after 1 week of fantasy football.
All right, so we have in the Hell's Kitchen division, Kelly Los Ingobernables and Mel's Human Bartenders. Both are 1-0, with Mary's Bright Suns and Sharks Shelbyville Sharks at 0-1. So obviously that's what you're gonna get throughout this out the standings of week 1. In the Cybertron division, it's myself and Juan at 1-0, with Jose and Mahoney at 0-1. And remember, week 1's 2 and 3, and at the end of the season, the last 3 weeks, you're going against your division. So that's what makes these first weeks and last weeks very important. Tad and Vetter stand at the top of the Japan shit division at 1-0, well, with Jason's ass and Goats Turd Ferguson's at 0-1.
Who the fuck is Jason's ass?
That should be your team name next week, Jason's ass.
maybe next time. I already have his team name all picked out.
So yeah, we had talked about you know, I was gonna ride out, ask me about my butt for the rest of the season, but then we thought it would be a lot more fun if Mahoney picks a new name for me every week. So stay tuned for that at the end of the show. All right, well, it's still anybody's season. Week 1, you know, it's anything can happen.
I mean, you can go 0-3 and still make the playoffs because shit's wild. As I try to talk myself out of an 0-2 start.
Well, for those of you that are worried about an 0-2 start, you might want to keep your eye out on some players that might be on the waiver wire, or you know, that might be starting this week, so let's talk about this week's watch list.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Tito, who you got on your watch list this week? Who should people keep an eye out, or what kind of player news is there this week that is interesting you?
Well, it was an interesting preseason because there actually wasn't a preseason. So going into the season, there was a lot of worries about whether guys would be in shape, game shape, because game shape and in shape are very different things. They're not hitting hard. So injuries were a concern. So a couple of injuries to look out for, and then their backups. You have Le'Veon Bell, who's out for the Jets for a few weeks. So you have the Methuselah, Frank Gore, who never seems to age and performs very well no matter where he goes, as his backup. And then Michael Thomas for the Saints is out. Now, Emmanuel Sanders stepped up very well last week. He's been drafted. That was one of the reasons why I picked up Traquan Smith from the Saints. Strong season at the end of last year. Maybe without Thomas, he gets to see some balls thrown his way.
Nice. What about you, Mahoney?
So over on the Indianapolis Colts, Marlon Mack, who did very well for me last year, is done for the season. Blew out his Achilles. He's gone.
Oh, you hate to see it, man.
That's
right? First game of the year.
Well, they've improved sports science to the point where an Achilles injury isn't completely disqualifying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll be back next year.
But still, you're never the same mentally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that you see them go down from that, and it looks like they got shot. Like, they just drop. And so with him out, someone who did very well for me 2 years ago, Nyheim Hines, stepped up, put up a ton of points, and now he won't be that kind of lead feature back for the Colts, but he is probably somebody who's going to get a ton of points for you each week. He definitely gets a lot of catches. If you're playing PPR like we are, that's a great thing. I was all about picking him up until I saw that Mary drafted him in the garbage time of the draft, and he's already off the board. So great for Mary, and I hope he does very well for her.
Jose, you got any secrets that you're keeping under your vest?
I'm not keeping any secrets, but talking about Achilles, Richard Sherman hitting the defense. San Francisco is getting a little injury bug. He's out for the next 3 weeks. They placed him on ER with a flare-up that could be his Achilles. They're not saying like exactly what it was, but they said it was an injury from a certain year, and that's the year he blew his Achilles.
That's so good.
That's cool.
So,
I've got the 49ers defense.
Don't you have Kittle too?
Yes, Kittle is questionable.
Out. And Kittle was a large part of my championship success last year.
Yeah.
So if he's down, that's a big hit because Garoppolo's already struggling with, he's kind of got like the New England situation where they got a good offense. They got some good running backs. They got some all right receivers, but they don't have no explosion on the receivers. Like the quarterbacks, Garoppolo is hit or miss sometimes. He had big numbers last week, but 2 of those were off of they were short passes. It was mainly the yards after the catch. The other guys did the work. He didn't find like a streaking 80-yard dude. He hit him for like a 20, and then Mostert did the rest. So San Francisco helped me last year. They're hurting this year.
Yeah, your team in general, Knize. You got Kittle, who's a question. Your San Francisco defense is taking a hit. Godwin for Tampa Bay is probably out for a while.
Oh, and the other side of the ball, Evans went into the game dinged up with a hamstring.
Yeah.
Damn hand.
So all these, speaking of injuries very quickly, that's why we have those 2 IR spots available. So if somebody is on IR or labeled out, like somebody like Deebo Samuels, who is on Kelly's team, Los Ingobernables, Kelly placed him on IR. What that does is that saves him. He doesn't have to drop him, and it opens up a roster spot for Kelly to kind of pick somebody else up.
And also it's good if you have an Atlanta Falcon and they go to Magic City and get COVID, you can, sit him in that spot and not have to drop him.
When the stripper squirts COVID in his mouth, then
oh my god. Yikes.
So, Mahoney, was it during the draft or was it before the season started where... Oh, I think it might have just been in the Discord where you were talking about it might be better off to just not play a defense this season than starting a defense. And then the 49ers go and get me 2 whole points. So what's your logic behind that? Like, has something changed in our scoring?
Yeah, my logic around that was I wanted all of you to sit your defenses and not play them and not get any points from them. Now, luckily for me, last week I did sit the defense I had picked, which was the Minnesota Vikings, and I went ahead and picked up a defense to stream because the Vikings scored -9 points, which was outrageous. So
could you imagine?
I had taken them off of my team and put them on my bench, but oh man.
That's the last game. You're fucking up by 8.
Yeah. -9. I've seen defenses go negative. I don't think I've ever seen -9. It's ridiculous.
Well, my 49ers defense is going against the Jets this week, so I think that'll be the real test.
Yeah,
I like
you're
your
good.
chances.
You're good.
Well, I mean, kind of. I don't know about a real test, but it definitely is a test because if the Jets come out and like demolish them,
I could pick 11 guys off the street that can cover the Jets, so you're good.
I'm interested to see how much this show changes people's strategies, or if things that are said on this show like psych people out and make them do some last minute tinkering.
I don't know. I was unable to convince them to shut down their defenses. So,
but you put it in my fucking head, didn't you?
You know what? This week, sit your quarterbacks. You don't need them.
I mean, I might. Who knows? All right, Mahoney.
Hey, are they sitting Tom Brady this week, Mahoney?
Oh yeah. FYI to Juan, Tom Brady not playing this week.
Well, no, I have Tom Brady.
Oh, well. Whoops.
Yeah, after Tom Brady threw his second interception, I started to go into panic mode. And then I remembered, like Tito said, there was no preseason this year. So they're all still working their kinks out. So
everyone just got there.
Yeah.
Nobody knows each other.
Especially Brady coming from a new team into a new system with guys he doesn't know. That's why I picked up his new favorite white boy on waivers.
Yeah. That was a good move.
Who's his new favorite white boy?
Scotty Miller.
It certainly wasn't Gronk, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, but I called that during the fucking draft. I called it.
Why'd you call that? What was the reasoning?
Because I think O.J. Howard was going to be a bigger impact.
And that's who
got the touchdown.
And then Mahoney and I both had PTSD from having O.J. Howard on our team and never scoring us any goddamn points.
Yeah. O.J. Howard last year was the biggest disappointment of my team for sure.
But O.J. Howard never had the biggest decoy in the history of football.
Score update that impacts 2 of you guys. Kareem Hunt just scored a touchdown.
Oh, nice. My boy.
Great.
My boy.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to this week's matchup, but Jose and I are playing each other, and Kareem Hunt is on Jose's team.
Kareem Hunt and A.J. Green going. Now, this is what I'm hoping. Because the Browns scored, we're in a 2-minute drill. The Bengals just fucking sling it, and Green pulls off a nice long touchdown.
Well, the score now of the game is 21-10 Browns. The Bengals look atrocious. Just so that you know.
But now they got to start throwing it. Garbage time, baby. Let's do this. Kareem Hunt did me well when I had him when he was on the Chiefs before he nudged that chick with his foot.
Nudged.
Oh my God.
What? I'm sure there's video of that somewhere.
No, there is.
Yeah.
It was out there. That's why I'm saying, like, I saw it, and he may have went to kick her, but he didn't.
Listen, this is not Tuesday. You don't get to make these comments.
Why are we defending Kareem Hunt in his past with kicking women?
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying he did his time.
Save the controversial comments for Tuesday, Jose.
Yeah.
I say let him fly, Jose.
These days with T's in them, they get me confused.
Yeah, it's true. All right, Mahoney, you want to run down some of the waiver pickups this week for the waiver wire segment?
Yes.
All right.
Let's look at them. All right, lots of competition on the waiver wire this week. If you look at the waiver report for our league, there are a lot of unsuccessful pickups because they had already been grabbed.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted Malcolm Brown. Goat went ahead with his lowest score of the week. He had the #1 waiver pick. He grabbed Malcolm Brown first.
I had number 2, and I hoped Goat might have missed him.
Yeah, I had 3.
The only,
I thought I could get him
way
with
you
3,
were getting
but
him
didn't
is
work
if
out.
he did the Aaron Rodgers grab.
Right. Or if
Yep.
he just forgot to do waiver pickups altogether.
Yeah, at all. Like, yeah, because I'll tell you what, that's Lee's best move of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job, Lee. Lee setting that late Tuesday night right after the podcast.
Probably.
And see, it's not super controversial to have someone help you out with your team. See, Lee runs Goat's team, and then, other people have their nephew run their team.
Yeah, it's been known to happen.
Oh,
Lots
shit,
of competition.
Kareem Hunt kicked the extra point.
Oh, God.
I mean, he's got practice, right?
Lots of competition out there for James Robinson, who I grabbed with the #2. I had #2, right? #2 overall pick here. Jacksonville running back, who I think will do pretty well for me. And I got rid of Kerryon Johnson, who I had high hopes for when I picked him up in the draft. And then I got a look at the Detroit running back situation and was like, nope, get right out of here. So
No shit.
send him right back to waivers. And I don't think he's, nobody's interested in him. So grab him if you want him. He's going to suck. Mel went ahead and grabbed Aaron Rodgers. Now, here's my take on Aaron Rodgers. I, as we know, went out into the quarterback pool on the waiver wire, and I was like, I'm going to throw all of my hopes and dreams behind Tyrod Taylor because I am a dummy. And I considered Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers historically has done terrible against the Minnesota Vikings. Aaron Rodgers last year was having a rough time of things. And in the offseason, the Packers drafted a quarterback. So I was like, maybe, just maybe, Aaron Rodgers will be like, they drafted my replacement. Everyone has spent the whole offseason talking about how I suck. And I have to go play a team who has beaten up on me in the past. And maybe he'll be so motivated that he will just score, out of his mind and put up an impressive week. And then he did that. And so Mel jumped all over him on waivers. I don't know that I would have done that. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is coming right back down to earth next week.
Or he rides this buzz.
He might, but I don't like it.
I know they're banking on that old gunslinger mentality, the way Brett Favre and Peyton Manning went out in their last couple of years. Just, everybody doubting him, and he's just going to sling the ball around.
Yeah, I don't like the chances there. And then Juan, riding that same Aaron Rodgers train, MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who has been a disappointment for a long time in fantasy. Juan jumped all over him because he put up a ton of points. But again, I don't think that's going to continue. I think that's going to evaporate.
He's better than what?
Well, yeah, Juan dropped Brandon Cooks to get him, and Brandon Cooks
it was
is
a good
trash.
It was a good drop. I don't know
Yeah.
if I would have used my #4 overall.
Yeah, for sure.
But the move, when you look at who he dropped and who he picked up, I think was a better move.
Yeah.
He may have
you
been
can't
able to
go
grab
wrong
somebody
replacing
better.
Brandon Cooks with literally anybody because Brandon Cooks is already hurt, as we predicted in the draft special. And so if I was Juan, I mean, when he picked up MVS, he still could have gotten Benny Snell. He could have got Paris Campbell.
Benny Snell would have been a better pick.
Yeah.
Paris Campbell is a good pickup by you. He was on my list, but he wasn't that high just because I made my priorities running backs, considering John Connor was one of the guys injured.
Yep. Yeah, I'm stocking up on wide receivers because, as we all know, I love making trades. So I got a whole bunch of decent wide receivers. I'm hoping some of them start to break out, and I can turn them into something else that I might need in the future. So
Yeah, I might have been
that worked out for me.
Might have been sitting at dinner with my wife, and she goes, "Oh, look at this! Mahoney's already wheeling and dealing." And I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Yep. Yeah, because I don't even remember. Did she have Michael Thomas? Yeah, she's got Michael Thomas, and so he's out. And I'm like, "Hey, Mary, somebody I know's got a lot of wide receivers." She was not interested. She was like, "Get out of here! It's week 1." Other than that, let's see. Anybody else get anybody worth mentioning here? We talked about Scotty Miller. A couple of us changed our kickers. I took my kicker approach, and I was like, you know what? I think the Tennessee Titans are going to have to kick a lot of field goals. So I'm going to pick up Steven Gutskowski because I really think he's going to get the chance to kick a lot. And you know what? He sure did. He sure did get the chance to kick a lot, and then he missed almost all of them. So that didn't work out for me at all. So I dropped his ass right back to waivers, and I'm going with Josh Lambo from Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I think he'll kick a lot too.
He missed 3 field goals and an extra point on top of that.
Absolutely ridiculous.
That Russell Gage might be a nice little sleeper if things turn out right.
Yeah, I dropped my kicker and picked up Mason Crosby.
Yeah, I considered Mason Crosby, but I think the same. It's Green Bay, and I don't think Green Bay is going to do well. Russell Gage might work out well for you, Jose, for sure.
Because that first week, like I said, I think Atlanta's going to be down a lot.
Yeah.
You just gotta
all
hope
3 receivers had over 100 yards.
You gotta hope he doesn't love lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, but they live in Atlanta. Like you're talking about Ty Lue lives in L.A. They got that under control. Atlanta would be fine.
I don't know. Man.
We'll
Just say you
see.
got that lure.
Atlanta would be fine. Like they live there.
We'll see.
They got all that worked out. But you get a guy coming from L.A., he gets too excited.
They don't have wings in L.A.?
Not Magic City wings.
All right, well, is that about it for the waiver report?
Oh, yeah, that's all.
All right, well, let's talk Week 2 preview.
No.
I love that sounder. All right, Week 2 is an exciting week. Week 2 is the finally the return of the greatest matchup in pop fantasy football. Me and Jose.
Yeah,
Me and Jose played each other 3 times last year, the 3rd time being the championship game.
The rubber match.
The rubber match.
Won one.
Yep. They were always exciting. They were always a good time.
And I lost the first one to you last year, too. I think I started 0-2. I think I lost to Juan and you last year.
That could be. That
So
could very well be.
I'll give you guys a quick update on your game since we're talking about it. Right now, Jose, you're beating. I was about to call you Kelly because of your team name, Mahoney.
Yep.
8.5 points to 3 points. So right now the projection is Jose winning with 94.4 points and Mahoney losing with 92.4.
Yeah, but here's what I don't like.
It still has it close.
But that 3 to 8 is misleading because he's got one guy going. I have 2.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm not comfortable with that score.
I started Landry. I spent a lot of time debating if I wanted to start Landry. One of the problems with picking up so many wide receivers is then you got to decide which to play, and you got nothing but regrets. And so I started Landry. There's plenty of time left in this game. I'm still hoping for maybe a touchdown out of him, but if he puts up, 3 points, 5 points, something like that, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. So we'll see.
So what we're going to do, we had talked about this previously, and then Mel in the Discord had suggested that we each make our picks for the next week. So we're going to go through each game, and we're each going to call a winner. So who do we got for Tell 'em Kelly Eats Band-Aids versus the Selecciones Arriscadas? Tito, who you got?
All right.
So I believe I went with, hold on a second. I went with Mahoney.
You did?
I like Mahoney's running backs. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think Mahoney runs away with it, but I like the depth on Mahoney's team. So I'm picking Mahoney on that one.
Yeah, I will also go with Mahoney only because I believe last season Mahoney took the win early, right? Between the two of you.
He did.
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like Mahoney will take the early win, and then towards the end of the season, it'll be up for grabs. And also, I need him to avenge his loss to the champ.
See, I picked myself because I think I'll take the early win. I think I'll also take the late win. And then I think I'll beat Jose again in the championship. So.
And then, Jose, you also picked Mahoney?
No. I picked myself because I think that I got a team that can perform better than the score predicts.
For sure. Absolutely. If I've learned anything about fantasy football coming from a person who started this with no understanding or knowledge of fantasy football, it's that those predictions are completely useless.
Garbage.
I like some of the matchups, and I think if my team clicks and puts up the points that I was hoping for, I think my AJ Green instead of Gage may be what bones me.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll see.
you wish you had picked Nick
He just dropped
Gage.
the pass, by the way.
Cool.
Well, other games this week. We got Kelly versus Mel. After the points Kelly put up last week, all four of us. But I'll let you guys go through your picks. But my pick certainly Kelly. Kelly demolished. Kelly had a monster week last week. I don't know how you pick against Kelly this week.
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I like the matchups of his running backs. You have Cook going against Indy and Aaron Jones going against Detroit, and he also has Thielen there going against Indy. So he's gonna get a lot of points there.
I mean, the difference maker for Mel could be that new pickup in Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It could be. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. He throws the pick. He up by one, throws a pick at the end.
Who you got, Jose?
I went with Kelly too because I like the matchups. I like the lineup a little bit. His upper half of the lineup strong depending on how Rodgers goes, but he's got the Edwards-Helaire who fucking showed up for Kansas City that first game. That rookie's
highly touted rookie.
And then he's got DeAndre Hopkins, which I think fucking they were supposed to be the air raid offense last year. And
They're going to with 14 targets. He got targeted 14 times.
Yeah.
He's going to just chuck the ball up and Hopkins is going to go start picking that thing out the air.
Oh, deep left to AJ Green.
Nothing.
Incomplete.
Almost.
You
Almost had him.
fucking cock. So yeah, I went Kelly and I'm rooting for the Hair Boys.
Yeah. Kelly, you should change your team name to the Hair Boys.
Hair Boys, yes. I like that name.
Yeah.
All right, we got Matt and Mary this week. And they've got players already going. Right now, Matt is just behind Mary at 8 points with Mary's got 11.5. But the projections have Matt pulling it out at 107 to Mary's 102.
Mhm.
So we'll see there what comes out of that.
It's going to come down to that Baltimore-Houston game. Their quarterbacks are going head-to-head in their game. I think that's what's going to determine who wins that.
And I give the edge to Lamar on that one because I think Baltimore will throw on Houston way fucking quicker than Houston will throw on Baltimore.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck's he throwing it to?
Yeah.
Yeah. They traded everybody away.
I went Matt in that matchup for sure. He's my pick.
Well, I am definitely not ever going to vote against my wife, so I pick the Batu Bright Sons unless she's up against me, and then I'll probably still pick her.
I do like her Juju Smith-Schuster. I had him last year. It didn't work out because Big Ben got hurt. But as long as Ben's healthy and throwing to him, he's going to have a fucking monster year. And Mark Andrews is a nice pick because that also negates Lamar Jackson's favorite target.
A little bit. What's going to determine Lamar Jackson's points is his running. That's what kind of separates him from the pack.
See, but that's the thing, though, is he can throw to Mark Andrews. If he throws the majority of the touchdowns to Mark Andrews' points will be better than Lamar's based on the yardage situation.
Yeah, but a lot of Mark Andrews' touchdowns last year were in the red zone. We're in red zone, and that's where he likes to run as well.
She snagged him right before I got him.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
My whole draft went to shit.
Yeah, the draft went a little wild this week. Listen to the draft recap. You can watch it happen watch it unfold live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my plan's A through like Z2. Fucking thrown out of the goddamn window, and it was complete reactive
anarchy.
drafting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was absolute anarchy. Everything was everywhere.
Never felt such a wild roller coaster of draft emotions.
All
Oh
right.
shit! AJ Green threw a pass to Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
He changed
Wow.
teams just for that play.
How nice. Our next match coming up, Juan and Tito.
All right, I'm gonna go first here. I'll let you guys know I'm never gonna pick me in this. I'm always gonna pick whoever's against me.
Ridiculous.
So I'm picking Juan, just because of Mahomes. That's your wild card. That guy can put up 40 points any given week.
He can, but you also have the same situation Mary has. You have one of his favorite targets.
And Kelsey, correct. But he also has Hill. You know, he throws those deep bombs to Hill.
He does. Yeah. Hill can fucking turn 12 points in one catch.
Yeah, he turns those jets on. He's out, gets behind the defense, and Mahomes can launch that football. So that's kind of why I just really went with Juan just because of Mahomes.
Yeah, you went with Juan because you don't want to jinx yourself, and we all know it.
True.
I picked you, Tito. I'm going to jinx the shit out of you.
Yeah, I know it's a bad idea to go by the projections, but currently Tito's supposed to beat Juan by almost 30 points, so...
Yeah, right now we have two players going. He has, and it's comparable because they're both wideouts. He has Boyd, who has 3.5 points, and OBJ is finally coming through and doing stuff, and has given me 13.5 so far at halftime, by the way.
Yeah, that'll probably be his high point for the year, so enjoy
Probably.
that.
So if anybody wants a wide receiver next week, OBJ's on the market.
I am collecting them, and I love to trade. I'll be in touch. Veteran Tad next week. Now, remember, Tad put up almost 200 points last week, so I think you are out of your mind if you don't pick Tad. But I did say that Vetter's team, I expect that Tad's success was kind of, maybe not sustainable. But I do think that Vetter's is sustainable, so I could see an update here, but I gotta pick Tad. I mean, his team performed out of their minds last week.
This one was the hardest one for me to pick. Again, Tad put up those points with his number one pick, his first round pick, Barkley, only giving him 9 points. So I don't see Barkley scoring 9 points again, even though I'm pretty sure Chicago stacked the box to stop him. He has Murray. Murray had a good showing last week. This is Tad I'm talking about. Barkley, Adams, his wideouts did work. But to Mahoney's point, Vetter's team overall is going to be more consistent. Tad is going to have to rely on that big outbreak game or those one or two big outbreak games to win. You're going to see more consistency from Vetter's team.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the game to watch between the two of them, but, the games on Sunday at 1 o'clock might start, and those projections might go completely lopsided depending on how their players go. But yeah, I'm also going to go with Tad just based on that week 1 ass whooping he gave to Goat and Lee, specifically Lee.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's keep in mind. Let's let everybody know that we're making these predictions on Thursday. So somebody can make a lineup change during the course of the week, or something can happen from here to Sunday, and that'll completely change somebody's makeup.
Yeah, but I mean, also we're judging off of what we know about these players from playing with them for 6 years now.
Yeah, I picked Tad.
So if Juan gets the bright idea and gets an epiphany that he thinks Trubisky should be starting over Mahomes, which I wouldn't blame him for doing, then that might change a few predictions.
Oh, I mean, it would change my pick for sure. If he started Trubisky over Mahomes, I would definitely pick him to beat you, Tito.
See?
For sure. And our last game, it's Goat/Lee versus Knize. And you know what? Goat and Lee, your team sucked last week, so I'm picking Knize.
Yeah, and I'm projected to win, but you know how that happens.
Yep.
I will also pick myself.
Listen, I'm a big Christian McCaffrey fan. I really love. He was on my team. I really love what that guy can do. I think you're gonna get 15 plus points from San Francisco's defense. Brady's not gonna lay another egg.
No, I think Tampa rebounds.
So I'm going with you solidly here.
All right.
I as well pick the butts.
I pick my own butt. I do it all myself.
This may be the best time to talk about your team name. Ask me about my butt.
All right. I mean, well, it's getting late, so let's call the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
All right, let's go to final thoughts from Mahoney, the Kerouac Commissioner. What do you got?
All right, so we think it would be nice if each week we changed your team name, Knize. And we just talked about how Brady laid an egg for you last week, but we don't think that that's going to continue. We know that you are standing strong behind your quarterback. We know you're committed to him. We know you've got your all your hopes riding on him. We also know that
not all my hopes. Not all my hopes. You know, I just.
Oh yeah.
I thought I wouldn't normally pick Tom Brady. I don't give a shit about Tom Brady, but I feel like this year it should be interesting one way or the other.
Yeah. Don't talk it down. Your love for Tom Brady. We get it. We get that you love Tom Brady.
I call him Timmy Brady.
Right. We also get that last week, whenever you're listening to this on the podcast, we were all introduced to Trap Bunny Bubbles. She's wonderful.
Yeah,
Brady's wonderful.
She just wants you to fuck her to sleep.
That's right. Just fuck her to sleep.
She's a little cum slut, aren't we all?
We were thinking that the best name for your team is probably Trap Bunny Brady's.
I love it. I'm gonna have to pull some sound clips for next week, aren't I?
Yep.
I love it.
You just want to live in that mansion.
Yeah, man. Lee loves how that chick lip syncs.
Oh yeah,
it's his favorite.
Who
thing.
doesn't?
All right, Tito, Mr. Commissioner, what do you got? What are your final thoughts going into week 2?
It's only week 1.
Yeah.
If you had a bad beat, if guys didn't perform to what you were expected, it is only week 1. It's way too early to press the panic button. Relax. Give it another week. Let's see how these guys play out.
Yeah, I was about to go into the waiver wire and pick up like 15 people, and I'm like, just wait it out. It's all right. It's okay.
I'll tell you what, though. If you got a guy who's like 49 years old and he missed 4 kicks last week, react on him. Don't wait. Drop his ass.
They only get older with time.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd say fuck it. Drop them all.
Well,
let the football world burn.
Any other final thoughts from the champ, Jose Guzman?
I mean, it is early. The big key is going to be injuries, and
always, and COVID.
The draft is cool, but the past couple victories, the people that won the titles did not win with the team they drafted.
Right. Nope.
So it's going to come down to those late season injuries, those mid-season waiver wire picks that wins you the title. The team you got now, that ain't the team you went in with, unless you're just unless motherfucker puts up 170 each week. Then,
right.
Then we got a problem.
Yeah. Then like don't touch it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No, you don't touch that lineup unless you have to for a bye, and those guys still might find a way to score on the bye. I don't know.
Oh man,
so
it's exciting.
Stay vigilant on that waiver wire.
Stay vigilant, yes, on the waiver wire. Make sure you're wearing your mask. Make sure you're washing your hands. If you go to Magic City, wear goggles. Whatever you got to do. Whatever.
And a face shield. Just wear a full face shield.
Full face shield. That sounds good. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Thank you to Kristen Allen, who is listening live right now, who let us know halfway through the show that there was no audio on YouTube. So I'll make sure to go in there and fix that after this is over. But I would say a successful first outing so far. We're running a little long, about an hour. I think we can trim things a little bit, but I think this went great. Don't you?
Yeah, totally agree.
Listen, I can talk sports all day.
He's the sportsman. All right, so download the Pop Fantasy Football podcast and the Panels on Pages podcast, Panels on Pages Popcast, on your favorite podcast app. We're on iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts. If you can't find this on your favorite podcast app, let us know, and we'll make sure to get it on there. And
let us know, and we'll ask you why you're using that app.
no, I won't even ask any questions. I will submit whatever I got to do so that you can listen to our show the way you want to. And whatever podcast app you use, leave us a review. I know on iTunes, they still do reviews. You could leave us 5 stars and a little comment. Who knows? This show might get a following, and it might just get 11 views a week. Either way, we're going to do it. So
Right.
we appreciate it if you would leave us a review wherever you're listening. You can watch Pop Fantasy Football live every week at youtube.com/panelsonpages and chat with us in real time. I'm going to need to figure out my setup here because I had way too much shit going on and I was not able to keep an eye on the chat at all. But when I did pop in there, there was nobody in the chat, but it makes sense since there was no audio. It was just pictures. I'm sure that was fun to watch.
Nice and boring for them. And hey, whether you are in the Pop Fantasy Football League, your own Fantasy Football League, if you do like Fantasy NASCAR, I don't know, anytime you have a score this weekend, tweet at Lee on Pages and let him know.
Yes, most definitely. Especially on Sunday. Sunday's the big football day. If somebody on your team scores, make sure to let Lee know at Lee on Pages on Twitter.
Send them images, send them GIFs, sounders, whatever you have. He wants to celebrate with you.
Yeah, and
so let's
He's
help
just
him
shy.
celebrate.
He's sports shy.
We feel bad because while this Pop Fantasy Football as its own show was a cool idea, it is kind of leaving Lee out of the equation. Kelly thought that we had fired him. So I feel bad. So I want to make sure that everybody reaches out and let Lee know that he's still involved. And don't let him forget that Pop Fantasy Football is going on every week. And you can watch us every week at youtube.com/panelsonpages. Chat with us in real time. Be sure to like, subscribe. Panels on Pages on YouTube. Not only is there Pop Fantasy Football, but there is the Panels on Pages podcast live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Mahoney's got his top 6 TikToks of the week that goes up every week. We got fun games like Wrestler or Porn Star. And if you subscribe to the Panels on Pages YouTube page, there's 10 years of groundbreaking Panels on Pages video content. You could go through that for fucking weeks and still have shit to watch. Go watch Teforkin. Go watch the Stephen King's It pop commentary highlights. Whatever. It's all good. Trust me. And if you would like to get involved in the discussion even more than that, join us on the Pop Discord at discord.panelsonpages.com. There's a Pop Fantasy Football channel where we do all of our shit talking, and you can get all your programming updates for Pop Fantasy Football there. We're going to try and do it Wednesday every week, but like this week, it didn't happen on Wednesday because Mahoney's power went out, so we had to change it to Thursday.
Yeah, go figure.
It's going to be fluid, and we're going to try and keep you updated at all times. But even if you're not able to watch live, you're going to be able to catch it on the download or on YouTube, either way. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Believe in Knize, at Mahoney_D, at Wrath99, at _Guzmaniac. He's on Twitter all the time. And follow us all at Panels on Pages for all the great Pop updates. And don't forget to tweet at Lee on Pages. And while you're at it, hashtag it Pop Fantasy Football, just so he knows you're just not talking shit at him randomly. Oh, and there goes my mic. My mic just went, ooh.
I was dropping his mic to waivers.
Like he's got to pee and he's doing the dance and he's doing the thing and he's slowly walking farther away from the mic.
And it was just as I was finishing up too. So thank you guys. Thank you Mahoney, Tito, Jose for being on the show this week. And thank you for joining us and listening to Pop Fantasy Football Week 1 recap. Good luck to everyone competing out there in this league and beyond. And we will see you next week.
The whole thing's fucked.